Well, I'm Guy Webster of Motoguy, and today is April the 17th, what is it? 2005. 2005. Here's the latest and the greatest, 15 years in restoration. It's a Spaggari Franco Farne race bike from the factory that we rebuilt here in Ojai, and it just finished, and we ran it, and it's fast, really fast.
How fast?
Well, it's probably got top speed of maybe 115. That's very fast for a 450. We don't know that yet because we haven't taken it.
What's your favorite bike sitting in here? Is this it?
No, my favorite bike is the 999R with the factory exhaust and the chip and all the magnesium bits I put on it. And that's the sweetest bike I've ever owned, but it's single purpose, and so if I have a choice to ride over an hour, I take the Multistrada. The exhaust alone is $5,000 for the kit.
Yeah, that kind of puts it in perspective, huh?
What year is this bike?
This is new. It's only about 3-4 months old. Just breaking it in.
I don't know if you already mentioned, but what was your story on the BMW?
Well, there's a policeman that I met in Los Angeles. He builds them to your order, and he's a great enthusiast for BMW only. So he built that for me. You buy the tank. Everything's online, so any parts you want for it, you pick out off the website, and he comes to you and he says, well, what do you want me to do with this and that? And he built it exactly as I wanted it. It turned out perfectly.
Did he hand form that tank?
No, the tank is something you buy in Germany. They're endurance racing tanks. Same with the seat. Those are BMW aftermarket pieces. But I wanted a headlight on it so I could ride it in the streets. And I wanted disc brakes to stop it.
No gearbox in the
Yeah, it's not. It's just you take a lot of stuff out when you make them competition.
Filter stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff, and then we built the pipes to tune it. It has a Suzuki front brakes, so now it stops. And my other one, I have another one.
Yeah, it's a full factory
It
race.
doesn't stop.
He's at a /6 that
Yeah.
built up finish. White knuckles and
Sounds like a little turnover on this nice.
Want to hear it? I'll be happy to start.
Oh yeah.
It's not outrageously loud. I mean, it's louder than your stock one, but it's not outrageous.
That is a work of art.
The rear sense, the solder rear sense on that. Yeah.
It's a full factory racing Memphis, so it's 5K.
I wanted to have something fast. And
Yeah,
this is
that's it. It's so well balanced.
Oh, it's just the greatest thing to ride. I go nuts. I have this little area right here with Denizen grade.
Yeah.
And that's what I do is like once a day, the Denizen grade and back down again and practice with this thing.
So is this your main street bike?
No, my main street bike is the Multistrada. I ride that all over the world.
That's a great bike.
Oh, it's love it.
That's a great bike, man.
Yeah,
I'm getting one of those.
Oh, yeah, they're wonderful bikes. Get the S. It's just $1,000 more,
Yeah.
and it's worth it.
It's worth it.
It's got $5,000 worth of shit on it for the same price. And you got the good suspension airlines. But I can tell some of the people who are interested in really wants to hear about some of the exotic stuff. Oh, this is really exotic. This is a factory Ducati single from 1970, raced by Franco Farne. You know who that is? Franco Farne. and he brought it over to this country. Mike Baldwin, an American, raced it, and it just came out of restoration 1 week ago. It took 15 years to restore it, to getting all the original parts back. So it's finally done. Now I can sell this one, which was my duplicate. But this is a modern one, built by NCR in Italy, to match what they did in 1970. So this one's worth like $22,000. This one's worth like $60,000 because it's the original. But they're the same basic bikes.
All original parts on here, there's been no...
We added what's legal for armor racing. Like this is what we custom built, very powerful, strong triple clams. But no, it's got the, you know, the 42mm carbs, and this is the swing arm that the factory and the frame the factory did to brace it all up, so it's got bracing everywhere. It was brought over to this country. It was built for a famous guy named Roberto Gallino that I know, who lives in Spezia in Italy, and he was the Ducati guy. He and Spaggari. So this is really rare. The only thing I don't have are the original brakes, which were Fontana's, but these were also raced near the Chirianis. So this is legal for Arma. We just kept everything Arma legal. Runs great though. We spent a year building the engines and full race specs, dry clutch, straight cut gears, gorilla rods.
What year is this?
This is a 1970. But here's a 1971 or 72. It's the same thing. And you can get one of these today, built by NCR in Italy, or they can build them here and send the parts over. This is the fastest Ducati single in the country.
Now, has this one been raced and finished racing?
We've taken it to the track, but we don't want to race them because I love them so much I don't want to beat them up. This one, we're definitely not going to race, but maybe this one. Now that I have that one finished, that can be the show bike and race this. But I'm too old to race and find somebody else to do it. If there's any Ducati fans, I got something interesting to show the Ducati guys.
Last night.
Something really interesting. For the history of Ducati, the bike in the far wall there took me about 5 or 6 years to get and finally restore it. That's Taglioni's first masterpiece before he went to Ducati.
Really?
He built when he was an engineering student in Bologna. In Chicago, and it also has a 100cc champion in speed trials.
Really?
When did that bike stop production?
Mid-50s.
Mid-50s?
Yeah.
And what was the reason? It just underfunded? They just...
Well, no, it was just a 75cc or 100cc.
That was it.
And then they had little street bikes, they were like moped bikes.
Right.
How many were made?
Of these, nobody knows the exact figures, but probably not more than a couple of hundred of the two different categories. And that's a Grand Prix bike. And you can see Taglioni's influence in the high cam with the, instead of having a tower shaft, he's got gears driving the cams. But this was one of the things that he did, which was, he then took it over to, from here he went to Mondial and then to Ducati. But these little caps were very clever. They're on spring loaded, so you can, the track side, adjust the valves, but it keeps you clean because in the earlier days, a couple of years before this, the oil would just spray all over the driver's legs and over the bike. So these caps were like inspection caps that kept everything clean. And it's like a Swiss watch in here with the gears. This is a little oil filter that was added on after the design when they started Grand Prix racing. It's really, it's one of the great finds of my life. I had to go down to Argentina to get it.
Where in Argentina did you find it?
In Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires?
I'm on the trail of another bike down there. I found a Grand Prix Ducati twin cam from the original racer. He still owns it and is considering selling. So I may have to go back down there to see if I can negotiate it.
Did they race through the streets there, or was there
Yeah.
some of them?
Yeah, all over the world there was street racing, even in this country. But in Italy more than anywhere else. And so all these bikes were raced from Milano to Toronto, 1,000 miles, or the Giro d'Italia, 500 miles and different. That's what I do every year. I'm going in 2 weeks to race that again.
Which bike do you take?
It's a Ducati Multistrada that I've got
Oh,
over there.
okay, that one, okay.